Hey guys, it's Clovis, and today I'm going to do a guide on how to reincarnate cards as efficiently as possible. Now in this game, every 5 duels against the AI, whether they're wins or losses or a mix, you can reincarnate a card. And basically what that is when you get the option to do it, as you can see in the bottom left of the screen here, it'll let you reincarnate. You can press L3, and if you sacrifice a card, which I'll show you soon, you'll get 3 cards back for it at around roughly the same debt cost as the card you reincarnate. So the best thing to do it with is obviously cards you have lots of copies of. One example is actually Fake Trap. If you keep reincarnating them, most of the time you get nothing, but it's the only way to actually get the ritual cards and stuff, and some of the rare cards in this game. So what I'm going to do is show you a way that you can just basically infinitely reincarnate, and you will need a few resources for this. The fastest way to do it, the method I have set up, you will need 3 memory cards. If you don't have 3 memory cards, look on like eBay or something. You can get memory cards for really cheap, like a few dollars nowadays, so like just get a third-party one. You'll also want 2 controllers as well, which we'll get into a little bit later. You don't need it, but it just makes it a lot more convenient. Anyways, make sure you have reincarnation as an option, and then you want to save this save file on your other 2 memory cards, so all 3 have the option to reincarnate. So basically, we'll say the first memory card I have, which say is the one I have plugged in, is our main save folder. So say this is just the one that you've had all the time. It can be any memory card you want. Say if we've got like a red, a blue, and a green memory card, so you know which ones they are, or you can mark a sticker on it, whatever. But as long as you've got the reincarnation up. Now, I'm going to take this main save card out and put it in the second slot, and the reason for that is this game will never ever prompt you to save onto the second slot. So as long as your main save is on the second slot, you would never ever save over it. So now I'm going to put in my second memory card, and when we reincarnate on this, we'll still have the option to do it on our main memory card, of course. So just for an example, I'll just reincarnate a random card. I would love to show you how to get the rituals and stuff, but it can take a really long time, so I'm just going to go and reincarnate a random card. Just for an example, I'll go around and reincarnate a relatively high debt cost card, because this is the only way to get some cards like Creature Swap and some of the other higher ones like Just Desert. So I'll just reincarnate this Crush Card Virus here, and we can see what we get out of it. You do get lots of Suijins, Kasujins, and Sunger of Thunders if you reincarnate the higher ones as well. Generally the pool stays the same. But yeah, this is just an example. So say we've got 2 Suijins and a Grave Robber here. You can look, and we've got the quote-unquote newcomers. All the way at the top here, we'll see it's now in our library, of course. It's not showing us Suijin because I think I already have 9 of him. But again, this is just an example. Now say if those cards were actually the cards we wanted, say we got 3 rare cards, or we got like Tremendous Fires or something like that, we'll just save the game now. And then we go back to the main menu, and this is where the second controller comes in handy, and why we have our main save folder in the second slot, because we're going to trade it back to our main account, or our main save rather. So this is the Grave Robber we just got, so we're just going to trade that over for brevity. We'll say it's some super rare ultimate card we always wanted, and we'll trade that over, no problem. So yeah, the trade obviously has to save the game for you. Now before we go back into the game, what we're going to do is remove that memory card we put in the first slot, and then put our third memory card that has our main slave on it. Our main save, sorry. Did I say slave? That's weird. So we'll load the game from the third memory card, but once the game's loaded, we'll actually take that out, and then put our second one in again. So this has basically loaded our main save again, without having to actually change anything else. But before we go in, we're going to save it, because if we don't get what we want, and we exit out and load back in, we wouldn't have the option to reincarnate if we didn't save back over it. So as you can see, we'll have the option to reincarnate again as we loaded the save from the third memory card. Alright, so let's just reincarnate a Summon Skull, why not? Again, this is just an example, it doesn't really matter what you get, I'm expecting nothing, so... Yeah, Jellyfish, I'm pretty sure I've got all these cards already. Peacock. Yeah, if you're not sure... Like here, for an example, this is actually... Cyber Soldier's a card we don't actually have yet, but I can get it later, so it doesn't really matter. So we have one of this card and one of Jellyfish. Say if we actually wanted the Jellyfish, we could trade it over. Which I'm going to do right now just to show you that you can just continuously reincarnate. And then after that, I'll give you an example of what to do if you reincarnate cards that you don't want. So again, we just save. I thought I already had these cards, but any card that's new, I welcome. So it's that easy, we just go back to the trade. And just trade the cards. Again, if you see a 1 next to the briefcase, that means you only have one of the cards in your library, so that's something you definitely want to trade. Otherwise, you can do it with duplicate cards, no problem. So again, we take the memory card out in the first slot, put in our third memory card that has our main save on it as well. The reason why I do this and not just put the first memory card, like if you have 2 memory cards, you can just swap the one back and forth, but I've accidentally saved over it doing that, so I just use 3 memory cards instead. So yeah, we've loaded the third one out, we'll take it out and put the second one back in, save again, and then I'll just show you what happens if you don't get what you want, which is pretty straightforward, so I'm just gonna reincarnate whatever. Hopefully I don't get anything because I kind of want to exit here. Reincarnation is time frame based as well, by the way, so not that that matters, because if you're not emulating, it won't make a difference. Ironically, I actually want this card, so I'm going to transfer this one as well. But, you know, it's not a bad example. I mean, you know, I've only been, like, messing around for a few minutes, like 7 minutes, and I've already got a few cards that I actually haven't got before, so I guess it's a pretty good demonstration of how this technique actually works. So I'll quickly trade this one again. Hopefully next time we don't get anything. And we'll just trade the Fiend Reflection we want. I already had that card, but it's a card you'd probably want a duplicate of. Take the memory card out again, load the third one. Put the second one back in, save, you know the drill. Alright, I'll just reincarnate a fake trap this time, because I'm likely not going to get anything. And if I do get something, it'll be pretty friggin' cool to see, so... Yeah, I'm expecting nothing. The thing about fake traps is, the reason why they give you so many of these damn things, like in the graveyard slots, is you're supposed to reincarnate them to get the ritual cards. Like, that's literally why they're in the game. I'm treating that as a fact. But most of the time you get nothing, as you can see. 3 fake traps, that's actually not that rare. Honestly, don't expect like to get anything out of this just on the first few reincarnations. It took me like half an hour to get the puppet ritual last time I tried this. But yeah, as you can see, those cards are absolutely useless to us. We already have 9 fake traps. Even if we wanted 3 fake traps in every deck, you know, it's just completely pointless. Plus, we're at the max anyway. So if you don't like what we want, we just simply press select and exit out and load back in. And then we can just go back into the deck and reincarnate again. Remember, when you do load that third memory card, you want to save it back onto the second, because if you don't, it'll have the same save that you've already reincarnated and traded away. So you do want to make sure you save over that second memory card. Nothing special, nothing special, nothing special. It's pretty typical. Again, I don't you should never expect anything from a fake trap reincarnation, and that kind of makes it even better when you actually get something cool. But yeah, didn't like what we get, so we just exit to the main menu, no problem. Load back in, only takes a few seconds. It is annoying to do this over and over and over again, but it actually is quite fast, so... Like, it's the fastest way to do it. Rather than, you know, restarting the PS2 every time, or... reincarnating and then doing another 5 jewels just for another chance at reincarnating. I'll just show you one more time, just so we can see, like, the pace of it. I'm probably going to get 3 fake traps again. You can get other cards like Murian Curry and Call of the Haunted, mostly low deck cost ones. There you go, Call of the Haunted. But I mean, I don't want that card, so yeah. So yeah, as you can see, usually when you reincarnate, you know, every 5 jewels you reincarnate and then you get a few cards and you're like, yeah, that's cool, I'll keep them, and then if you want to reincarnate again, you gotta have 5 more jewels. But this just skips all of that shit. If you're just doing the reincarnation for the rituals themselves, again, sometimes it just takes ages and ages. Sometimes it takes a frustratingly long time, but again, it's the only way you're ever going to get some of the cards in this game, and this is pretty much the fastest way to do it. So yeah, as a reminder, if you don't have 3 memory cards and 2 controls like I do, and you really want to do this, just find some dirt cheap memory cards online. I've got a couple that I got for like $2 or $3, and I'm sure everyone has at least more than one PS2 controller, so if not, try to find a third-party one. They're pretty cheap as well. Anyways, that's the efficient reincarnating tutorial. There's like a few tidbits on cheat sites about how to do it, but this is like my sort of method of doing it with 3 memory cards. Just having the one save on it is pretty much the best, and it's really good for getting stuff like Dupes of Tremendous Fire or anything that's good at reincarnating. And again, you can even do this like if you're starting a new game and you have spare memory cards, you can just save that main folder onto a few other ones and just keep trying for the cards you want. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope this actually benefits you somehow. I wish you good luck if you're trying to get rituals by reincarnation or any rare card you want. So yeah, thanks.